Now, what is the correct way to pronounce your stage name?
That's a good question. Everybody always be messing it up and just fucking it up, but it is Young Nuts. It is not Young Nutsack. It's not Young Nuggets. It's not none of that. But yeah, that's how you say it. Just Young Nuts, just spelled different.
And speaking of spelling, do people misspell it as well?
Yeah, they misspell it a lot actually. Like Y-O-U-N-G or like just N-U-T-S. And I get it, like, you know what I'm saying? It's the normal way you spell shit, but, you know.
And what do you notice people do more zooming out? Mispronounce this stage name of yours or misspell it?
I would say misspell it. Yeah, misspell it or just start laughing when they hear it the first time, which is actually a good reaction. I'd rather you laugh and be curious about me than be like, oh, he's just another little something, you know what I'm saying, all that shit. But
And can you explain that spelling? Why it is spelled the way it is? Why it's missing the O? Why there's a Z instead of the letter S? Things of that nature.
I had a lot of thought on my name, actually. Like, I thought it would be catchy to have it be, because, I mean, everybody back in the day were doing, like, Young Khalifa, all this shit, but, like, Young was just, like, it was just, it's a vibe, you know what I'm saying? It just represents, like, forever being young, forever being nuts, like, but I just spelled it differently, like, you know, JayZ, forever young, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's where it really started from, like, forever young, forever nuts, but I just spelled it different. Like, I would spell like how a kid would, like, you know what I'm saying? Just more kid-friendly of an approach, and people kind of gravitate to that, like, to this day, so, yeah.
So just for clarification, would you say this stage name of yours is inspired from Jay-Z?
It's inspired from Jay-Z's song, I forgot who, Mr. Something was on there with the hook, and yeah, just that whole song just kind of catapult what the whole representation of, like, being an artist is to me, because even at his age, like, he still could drop music and it would still be relevant. Like, Nas is still dropping music, it's still relevant, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're always gonna be forever young as long as you have some heart in you, some life in you to, like, you know, live, enjoy life. You know, you're always gonna be nuts because you're taking risk in life. You gotta be crazy to be taking risk in life no matter what. Like, yeah.
Now, speaking of the phrase young,
Mm.
are there too many stage names with that phrase in it currently?
Man, there's a lot of people right now with that. Like, but I think it's also like just in general, like me trying to stand out. Like right now, like there's some goofies I like to say who got similar names. Like they're not even doing shit. So I feel like there's a lot of youngs, there's a lot of littles, but at the end of the day, it just really comes down to what you're doing with the music, like what you're representing to, like, you know.
Now, at that time when you made this name,
Yeah.
your stage name, official, were there a lot of youngs back in those days, or is it a lot more now currently since the stage name was created,
Ah,
relatively
man.
speaking?
I would say it was popping at the start. Like it was popping. That's why it was like I felt like okay, I would fit in a little bit, but I would also be able to stand out because initially you wanna know what the fuck this person's about because it's a funny name, but then you hear the lyrics, he's like, all right, he's actually cold. He's doing his thing, and yeah, I thought it was good back then, but like now there's a lot more people, bro. There's a lot of artists now all over the world, like Latin music, Latin culture. Like they got a bunch of young Miko, like for example, like my girl likes listening to her, like you know what I'm saying, like yeah. There's a lot of youngs. There's a lot of littles. Shit, shout out to Lil Tyler. Like, but it's a lot of littles. There's a lot of youngs. So I feel like it's gotten bigger. To be honest, it's gotten way bigger. Yeah.
And you describe Forever Young and explain that whole scenario there, but no matter your literal age in life, as old as you may get, will you ever drop the phrase young from your stage name at some point?
Yeah, actually, I thought about it. I thought about just going with my first name as my stage name. But, you know, in order for that transition to happen, I feel like I have to finish like this whole chronological like album. You know what I'm saying? Like I have a whole idea that I wanted to like execute before I even thought about, hey, I'm gonna switch my name. And the only reason behind the switching names, like you said, like at some point you gotta like grow up, so to speak. But You know, Kendrick did the same thing. He finally went from K Dot to Kendrick, and then everything just changed. You feel me? So I've played with it, but I feel like I'd rather do that as like a producer or some shit, you know, and just keep that going. But I don't know, man. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to decide.
Well, to give you more of a literal example, there is another recording artist by the name of Young JayZ who dropped the phrase young and just goes by JayZ at this point.
I mean, going by Nutz would be cool too, but I don't think like that would really fit me. So I feel like going with my actual first name would like represent more and just feel more confident and more like in my skin and in my element immediately. Like, because being from Young Nutz to Nutz is like, all right, so now you're just crazy. You feel me? But if I go to my first name like Katama, it's like, damn, all right, that's kind of hard. It's kind of solid. But the representation behind it is like who I am, like my culture and all that. So it also would like stand a little bit more stronger.
Now, can you provide further meaning of this stage name of yours, aside from the Forever Young synopsis there, but the actual phrase of Nutz? Can you dive a little bit deeper with that for the audience?
Oh yeah. So young is, you know, we're always gonna be young. You know, Nuts is we're always gonna be nuts. We're always taking risks. And like I said earlier, like as long as you got some air in your lungs, as long as you're breathing, you got life to live. You know, some people give up when like they have kids and like they just throw everything away and like their kids is their life. They ain't got nothing else outside of that. They don't want to do with friends. Like, but I feel like as long as you got life in your lungs, you gotta enjoy life. Cause I always tell people the same thing. Like I be telling my older brother and siblings, like just because you got kids doesn't mean like they're not gonna grow up, leave the nest, and you still gotta figure everything else out. Like so, keep figuring everything else out, and don't ever stop figuring things out, no matter what comes in your way. You know what I'm saying? So that's what Nuts represents to me. Is like I might be crazy to keep chasing the dream. I might be crazy to like keep living my life on my accordance and on my standards. But what else should I do? You know what I'm saying? Follow everybody else's, and you're gonna live with regrets. So.
When it comes to that stage name of yours, have you heard all the jokes about it?
I've heard all the jokes, for sure. I've heard all the jokes. I've heard all the references to everybody else. Like, I'm not even trying to hate on them, but, like, they ain't doing shit, honestly. Like, I get tired of people who already, like, drop shit, like, years back. It's on some, like, goofy, I'm just making music shit, and then, like, they didn't even do anything with the name. And now I gotta, like, pretty much execute every single one of them out the way, like, just to get some kind of respect. But, you know, I don't think like I'm really worried about it. Like the joke's gonna come. Like everybody makes jokes by everybody, so toughen up.
Because of those jokes and references and things of that nature that you just described, any regret with that final name stage name choice there?
Nah, I think I'm for the kids, bro. Like I'm really just I'm trying to make some groovy shit. I'm trying to make some shit that inspires people, but like you can vibe to it, but it's like that motivation music. Like it's that chill, smoke to motivation music that's just gonna really get you aligned to like the mindset you need for that day every day. Like just go and get it. Do your best and don't doubt yourself because we all live with that. But like, yeah, my shit is just really trying to like keep you grounded the same way I'm trying to keep myself grounded. You know, so I think it's really just for the kids. Yeah.
And is that a reference into smoking cannabis or tobacco?
Smoking cannabis. Yeah. We don't smoke tobacco around here.
You mentioned siblings. Care to share how many you have?
I'm actually from a family of 5, so I'm the middle kid, and I'm also the middle in the boys. So always been the black sheep, I guess. Yeah.
And that's 5 total, same mother and father as you?
Right. Yeah, they're still married.
And how long have your parents been married for, approximately?
Man, 40 plus, all my life, still going. Yeah.